Good afternoon, YouTube. This is Green at My Tears coming to you on Green TV, also known as Katrina. So I'm gonna do a quick DIY, and that DIY is a washcloth that I just spoke about in the last video. And so it's really simple. You're just gonna need a couple of things. You're gonna need a square, which this is one I got made at Tap Plastic. And it's a 7.5 by 7.5 inch square. You're gonna need a rotary. You're gonna need a mat. This is a self-healing mat. And you're gonna need a rotary cutter. And then you're gonna need your fabric, which I got from the fabric store. I got this terrycloth. And you can also use an old towel if you like, but I just went and bought some terrycloth because they have terrycloth in different colors at Joann Fabrics. And you want to get some flannel. Flannel works better because it's really pretty and it's soft and it's colorful. And not to say that cotton fabric, just plain cotton fabric isn't, but this is soft. So you can make these for your friends, you can make these for kids, but on with the DIY. So what you want to do is cut your fabric out to the square size of your choice, and these are 7.5 inch wide. And you're gonna need your sewing machine. And what I did is I put my own label on it. So what I'm doing first now is I'm sewing around my label. So if you want to sew around your label, if you don't have a label, you just would disregard this process. So I'm going to sew around my label first, and I made my labels so they iron on, and then I just sew around to keep them in place. So because I don't necessarily want people to remove the label, because I want them to remember who made the item. So I'm sewing around the label. Okay, so please that. So now what you want to do, just cut all the threads off. I cut as I go. Don't have too much to do afterwards. So I get both pieces, put them right sides together. But with the terrycloth, there is no right or wrong side. You just choose which side, but you definitely want whatever coordinating fabric you have, you want that on the wrong side. You want right sides together. So what you want to do is get some pins. I like to pin on the four sides. So I'm pinning on the 4 sides right now. Okay. And then what you want to do is start, say for example, I'm going to use this as my center. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to start sewing on this side of the pin. See the pin? So I'm going to start sewing right here because I need to have a place to turn it. So let's do that. And what I'm doing is I'm using a 1/4 inch seam allowance. So I'm using that so I can be able to turn it. And what you can do is what I do sometimes is use my presser foot as my guide. So I'm sewing this together now. And these sew up real quick. And I'm so glad I saw the idea on Pinterest. And you want to also remember to remove your pins as you sew. And that's what I'm doing. Because there's nothing like breaking a needle while you're sewing. And sometimes it can mess up your needle. You have to stop. And I don't like to stop too many times when I'm starting a project. And also a little tip is when you start a project and you know it's going to take you a while to complete that project, I suggest winding at least 2 or 3 bobbins. So when you start, you won't have to stop and wind bobbins. So like when I went to do the project yesterday, I wound 2 bobbins, so I wouldn't have to wouldn't have to stop and wind bobbins. I could just keep on sewing, just put a new bobbin in. So I'm back around to where that pin was with I'm marking my center. So I'm gonna go sew up, not too close to, but close enough, and I'm just tacking it in place, cutting it. And see my square is sewn. So what I want to do is cut the corners. You don't want to cut too close to where you don't want to cut close to where the stitches are, just above the stitches, because this helps you to have those nice corners. So I'm just cutting the corners and find the hole. And I'm just going to turn it. And what I use to poke the corners of my, when I'm doing something like this, is I start off with using my finger, but then I end up using a chopstick, and they also have turning tools. They also have pointers, but I like using a chopstick because chopsticks are a little bit more inexpensive. I've gotten like packs of chopsticks for like $1. So I'm just pushing out the corners. We're almost done with this. So, and what I did is I like to sew. When I'm doing something like this, I like to make sure that it's at the bottom of the item or even on the side, but it doesn't matter. So what I'm going to do now, just do this out one more time, is I'm going to pin this closed. And here's another tip. When you're sewing something like this, you don't want to start right here. You want to start from the corner and go over. It makes it look a lot better and a lot cleaner. And the way I learned by trial and error, and I learned by listening to other people that give tips. So I'm just sewing. And you can also, if you have a machine that has a lot of different stitches, you can do a zigzag stitch. But right now I'm just doing a straight stitch because that's what I want to do. So I'm just using a straight stitch all the way around the square. And see, it doesn't even take that long to make these. I have one more side to go. And when I give these, and I would suggest when you give these to someone, you put a note in the wash before using, because when you buy new things, you want to make sure you wash them and to get sizing out of them or any chemicals. And yeah, so there you have it. And that's a cute little washcloth for a baby. And like I said, you can make these any sizes you want. You can make them like get a 10 by 10 square, or you can even make them a rectangle or whatever shape you want. But I think these are really cute for babies. So thank you for viewing, and I pray that everybody has a blessed day, and look out for more DIYs. Bye.